Hi, this is Glenn Fisher and Jennifer Pena, and I'll be demonstrating our career planning and retirement option decision tool 1-3, our final prototype. So here we've got John Doe. He's currently an E9 with over 20 years of service. He lives at zip code 10997, which is here at West Point. He doesn't live Oconus. He doesn't have any dependents. Actually, we can go ahead and change this. All of these are variable. You can change any of these things to reflect the soldier's actual career path from E1 all the way up to O10. So we've got all those things. These things are used to calculate his base pay. This is used to calculate his BAH. It connects to the MHA, and then the zip code links to the MHA, which then links to how much money he gets per month, and then we extrapolate it out to years. His dependents also are used in part of his base pay. We've also here got a section for special pays. So it just asks you yes or no, do you receive the pay? And then based on the information that he's already given up here and some of the information that he'll give later, it calculates whether or not or how much he gets, depending on what special pays that he gets. Over that, Oconus factors into COLA pay. So if he does live Oconus, we click yes, and it changes in our little black box operating system that I'll show you in a minute. How much money he gets. So once he puts in all this information, he's got his special pay, he's got his basic user info, he can come down here and he puts in what rank he is for every year he's been in the service. All of these boxes kind of come out to, let's pick a couple random ones. He put in whatever rank he is, and depending on what rank he puts in, let's change this one, let's put him back at E8 in this year. This is year of service, so 14th year of service, he's an E8, he gets that much per month, and that's how much he's designated to his TSP. TSP is covered in both the old and new plans. Just the new plan, the government matches up to 5% here of what he's been putting in. So we started off low and incrementally increased it because we decided that Mr. John Doe didn't want to be as thrifty as an E1 as he does as an E9. So he scrolls down and he just stops putting in military service when he's retired. So let's say he's done 20 years right now. That's great. So now he's got this many more years to work in the civilian world. Down here underneath this, we say, are you eligible for the GI Bill? Whether he says yes, responds yes or no to that question affects how much, if the GI Bill affects his final outpay. And then he also gets to select if he will or will not take the GI Bill, as well as which state he will take the GI Bill in, which links over to his state, links up with how much tuition per year is for one of the more expensive, for the most expensive in-state college tuition that he can have. Then he comes down a little bit further, and we assume that he will choose a civilian career after he retires from the military, given that he has time left, which is calculated based on some simple math, addition and subtraction between numbers. So let's say he doesn't want to work community service and social occupations, but instead he wants to be a computer mathematics guy, and he wants to do actuaries. That sounds fun. Wow, he makes $110,000. 90. Cool. So that's his yearly salary now. Starting in his what would be his 21st year military service, which he isn't currently serving in. Scrolls down further, he chooses his tax bracket. It just shows how much his taxes are going to cost him later. So here, bottom line, he puts on all that information. It spits out NPVs for both his value using the old retirement plan and his value using the new retirement plan. So you see they're pretty close, 2.867 million versus 2.799 million. So if we roll up and we change this down, let's see if we can't click it back under. Let's say he retires in year 20. So he doesn't really put in a TSP. He enters these numbers himself because that entering his TSP is dependent on him. So that changes it. So now they're only $10,000 off. And further, if he keeps dropping down years, and let's say he increases his TSP installments in those last 3 years, you can see the new plan is just barely creaked over the old plan by a couple $100. Um, Bottom line, we decided that it's how much you put into the TSP percentage-wise, as well as how well the market does, what the inflation rate is, that is, to calculate MPV, um, and then how many years he stays in. If he stays in the 20 years, he's probably going to be better off going with the old plan, but if he stays less than 20 years, depending on what the rate of inflation is, he may be better off using the new plan, because what MPV does is it sums all of the pays that he receives, his base pay, BH, BAS, COLA, special pay, minus his TSP contributions in the year that he made them, plus the government contributions. Those both occur at the end here. Those get added up onto the final value, plus whatever money he gets out of the GI Bill, which you put 4 years at the end for the tuition, plus his civilian salary, plus whatever money he makes afterwards, all add up into this summation column, and MPV is taken off of that, however many years it is, times an inflation, or like an inflation rate, or an interest rate, and we call that 2.5%, because that's pretty, not too high, not too low, but the more that goes up, so let's say we change to 5%, that $2.651 million is going to drop precipitously. So we'll just put that back at 2.5. All the mechanics are basically the same from the last deliverable. You got MHA, zip code goes to MHA, which MHA then is used to in conjunction with a VLOOKUP function, and his rank up here across the top is used to find his BAH with dependence, without dependence. Here's his pay scale. It's got his rank over here. It looks that up, uses this column finder over here to match up his rank with his years of service, and that gives him BAH pay, BAS, officer enlisted. You get it. Special pays, we pulled off of this chart. We dropped them down, sorted them out. Gives you, like, diving pay, for instance, very easy. Are you an officer? Are you enlisted? If you say yes to diving pay and you're an officer, you get that much. If you say yes to diving pay, you're enlisted, you get that much. Otherwise, you get $0. This is the old retirement plan. Oops, I apologize. This is the old retirement plan, an average of the last three. These are the last three installments that he puts in. And the average is that. You multiply that by 0.02 or 2.5%, and times his years of service gives him his pension through the old retirement plan. Wage data, this is all just a massive spreadsheet of how much he makes in each of his civilian occupations. Tax data, how much does he get, how much he makes, how much he owes in taxes. Over here on the GI Bill, I already showed you that. That's just a list of states, a list of universities, the most expensive public university in each state, and then the tuition for that. COLA, does he live outside the continental United States? His rank, his years of service, cross them down, VLOOKUP, gives you COLA. It's COLA with dependence and COLA without dependence, and that's pretty much it. Our little black box here at the beginning, we don't really want you to scroll over to it. Do not write anything across this line. Do not write anything across this line. It's basically just us summing all this up so that it's easily on one sheet, easily accessible for the person who's created the spreadsheet to come over here and look at these values, which then get kicked over into this MPV plan, old plan, new plan, and extrapolate it out through the years. So that's our project. In the future, we could add more special pay things or add more variability, things that can more finely attune to the individual soldier. This is kind of like a basic, not much room to be an individual. You have to fit in the cookie cutters. And we verified our tool by clicking through and choosing multiple different options for all these different things. You hit yes, no, leave one blank, see what pops out, change the TSP, change your ranks in here. Say he lives CONUS, say he lives OCONUS, say he doesn't want the GI Bill. He's eligible for the GI Bill but doesn't want it. Change the state that he's going to live in. multiple different occupations. And it just clicks out different numbers down here, which is exactly what it's supposed to do. That's about it for our tool. Thanks for listening.